ICT Functional Skills Word Insert tab. Topics you need to know. You need to know about illustrations and the options available to you. It's about including symbols in your page, inserting tables, first adding links, adding a header and footer for your documents, and other options for including text on your page. Okay, so we're going to look at the Insert tab within Word, and specifically we're looking at Word version 2016. Now, some of the features I'm going to cover are specific to the exam. There are plenty of other features as well, but I'm not going to highlight these too much. So starting from the far left, we've got the Pages pane, and the main feature you're going to use within there is probably going to be the page break, whether or not for the exam or for life in general. But you do actually get further options of page breaks in the Layout tab. Now the next pane is Tables. Now Tables does come with its own contextual ribbon, which means you get a further tab and features related to tables. And tables is specifically useful for sort of summarising data within your page. It allows certain things to stand out, like sales, a summary of something, data driven basically. In the next pane, it's illustrations. And we'll find the pictures, the one is the main one you'd use. It's probably drawing pictures from your computer. You'll also find online pictures, and bear in mind copyright when you're doing this, there's normally a prompt. Shapes, it's quite good to draw attention to information. You can do things like flow diagrams as well. Some newer options include icons, 3D models. Smart Art's been around for a while, it's quite good for business process diagrams. You can also insert a chart, and it gives you an Excel page for you to put your data into. You can also include a screenshot. Now, add-ins is specific to the user and what they set up. And those are the kind of defaults that my installation came with. You can also include an online video. One of the main features is links. You do get link, bookmark, and cross-reference. The main one you use is link, otherwise known as hyperlink. Have a quick look at these. So you can link to an existing file or web page. You can place a link into the document, into a new document, and also an email address. Note the text display, so the text will actually appear on the page. Normally it's quite summative and short. Then the actual link address goes here. Okay, you can also have a screen tip, so when somebody hovers over the text display, it gives them a prompt indicating more whether or not they want to click that or click something else. You can include comments, and these pop out to allow people to clearly see the comments you've made to their page. Another main feature of the exam is a header and footer. These are particularly useful when you print something off, they can clearly see who owns that document. Things to consider is name, version in the business world, as well as a link to where the page is stored, when it was printed out, just a few things to consider. And if you're a student, one of the main things you will probably use while you're a student is page numbering. Okay, the next pane is called Text. It includes things like the text box, word art, which is quite popular, a signature line, and date and time. Now the text box is particularly useful for having freedom about where you want to put text on the page. And do note, using this text box, we've got an additional ribbon tab pop up here for formatting those text boxes. Okay. I mentioned word art. You've probably used it before at college. It actually puts an artistic flair to your documents, so you can draw attention to text like titles and so forth. And the main one I quite like, if you're doing a mail merge, is the date and time. You get to choose which format you're going to include that in, so just have a quick check, and whether or not you want it to update automatically. And that one means, especially if it's a mail merge, every time you print off and open that document, it'll have the current date and time in it, so you don't have to change that accordingly. You can also include equations, especially if you're an engineering student, and symbols. Now the exam does really require you to be familiar with some of the main symbols. So if we have a quick look in here, you can see some things like ticks, the copyright symbol and such, and a few sort of mathematical symbols in there. If what we're looking for isn't there, we go to more symbols. And by default, probably because I've done this before, I've got wingdings. You can drop this down and look. But wingdings is particularly useful for sort of giving a note against something. So if I wanted to include an email address, Visually, I might just include a letter next to it. A telephone number, I might include a telephone next to it. It's a bit of an old way of doing things now, but it's still worth knowing they're there and it may come up in the exam. So if I include a pair of scissors and close, you can see a little diagram as is on the page. So if you want to note a cut-off point to send something back, that's how you do it. So there's sort of the basics of the insert ribbon. It's worth being familiar with them. There's sort of the main things beyond formatting that can come up in the exam. Practice task. Create a visual flyer that includes some of your main costs or services represented in the table. Sensibly, use as many of the covered features as possible, taking time to explore the options within them.